Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to the channel. Today is April 10th and it is Chloe's birthday today, so there will be no Whiny Wednesday live tonight, but I've got some papers and things that I pulled out to use my never-ending kit, so let's see what I can do. Alright guys, so I knew that I was going to use the black borders on all the papers. I've done this before. I've had some pretty good success with it, in my opinion. It's definitely things that I have enjoyed doing. So what I'm doing is just going to mat these two photos, and I end up changing the way that they are. I felt like from a vantage standpoint, they looked better this way. But once I got it on the, maybe I don't change them. Is this not the layout I changed? I did a couple layouts today and I had two photos that I thought looked good from one direction, but I decided that I needed them switched around. Maybe it wasn't this one. Or maybe I decided it before I actually glued it down. I can't remember, but anyway, I'm happy with the way it looks now, so I guess that's all that matters, right? Right. I will tell you that I did not videotape this entire process, and that's because Chloe came home from work in the middle of it, and I stopped the video when we were chatting, and then I was scrapbooking again while we were chatting, and I forgot to turn the camera back on, so yeah, we were making plans for where we were going to dinner, which we already knew was going to be Outback, and how we were going to get there. Meaning, when we first planned this, we thought Christopher was going to be out of town and it was just going to be the two of us, but he ended up not going out of town. And we just met him there because the Outback is closer to his work than it is to home. So we were having ourselves a grand old time. We also ordered Reese's shakes from Gravity, and we were just having ourselves a good time together. So you're not going to see much of the process, but there is not a whole lot to this layout. It's just not a layout that I decided I wanted to embellish a whole heck of a lot. And that's okay, right? Sometimes I really like to put on the decorations, and sometimes I'm like, nah, doesn't need it. Doesn't need it at all. So there is that. So I am going to go ahead and make sure that all of this stuff is matted on the black cardstock, and I will do a quick change, because at first I thought that this layout was going to be one direction, where I thought I was going to have the bulk and the weight of the paper up at the top and kind of have the photos in any direction, or any, not direction, any decorations kind of like cascading down from the top. That was the original kind of vision that I saw in my head. But like I said, it doesn't end up that way. I end up just turning my paper and going, oh, I like this so much better. So that did happen in that way, which is fine, right? Like, you are completely allowed to change your mind and do things differently, right? Like, who made the rule that if you have a plan that you have to actually do the plan? You can change the plan, right? You can totally change the plan. So this was me trying to figure out where I wanted the papers to go and how I wanted them to layer up. Wasn't exactly sure if I was loving what I was doing, right? Like, I'm kind of like, well, maybe I should just do it with this size, because this is the size of a black paper scrap that I have right now. So I go ahead and do that, and then go ahead and adhere that down, and I'm going to trim it down so it doesn't have that big bulky side on the right hand side there. So I think this is where I'm going to figure out the things aren't exactly going the way I wanted them to go, and it's not looking the way I wanted it to look. I'm like messing around with things, and I'm like, oh, I just covered everything up. Well, what if I spread it apart? Like, do I cut it in half and make it go? Like, or do I kind of do this diagonal thing here? And I'm like, oh, let's turn it. It looks so much better and it fits so much better. So it gets turned. And then at this point, I'm like, okay, I really don't need a lot of decoration on this page, right? Like, I am happy with kind of the way it looks. I'm going to add one more stripe with this piece of paper here just to give it a little bit more weight on the bottom. And then after that, I'm thinking that, yeah, this one's about finished. However, I do decide that I am going to add in just a little bit more, right? Like, we're going to do just a little bit more decoration. And then once we get that under there, I'm like, okay, I need to add some decoration, and then this is done. And then this is where I turned off the camera for some reason. I was thinking about adding something up here in the upper right hand corner, but in the end I didn't do that. So what I ended up doing was putting a couple of florals, a couple of chipboard hearts down, a bow on one of the hearts, and then a really small just word sentiment over the two hearts that are overlapped on this right hand side. Because I really didn't think that it needed a title on this page. Like, they're all going to be together. They're all going to be Leavenworth photos. So it's not like you're not going to know that it's Leavenworth. And if somebody rips apart my albums later on, I don't really care what happens. But ultimately, I just decided that it needed a little bit of sprinkle. And after that, that was where I was going to leave it, right? Like, I'm like, done, complete. I did cut out that black outline around that one white chipboard heart over on the right hand side. I also cut out an outline on the blue labels. As you can see, no outline on the heart with the bow. I just didn't feel like it needed it. So anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this layout. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.